Hey guys, BB here, back for the second video as promised. Last time I was here, I was explaining to you the purposes of me making this channel, and basically I'm just sharing with you the things that I've discovered along the way of trying to figure out how to get my skin under control, and just hopefully help a few people if I can. I mean, if I help one person off the back of this channel, then great. I'll have accomplished exactly what I made this channel for. So hopefully I will actually help somebody. Um, so today I am here to tell you my story. Literally just purely the story of my skin and how it's affected me over the years. It's not a very long story because I'm obviously not putting a lot of detail into it. But yeah, I mean, here we go. So, yeah, I remember, like, it didn't really affect me that much when I was in primary school. I don't know about when I was really, really little. I don't know if my mum had to put cream on me quite a lot when I was a toddler or anything. I should probably ask her. But when I was in primary school, I don't really remember it affecting me really severely. I mean, I had these cracked, like patches down the front of my shins, and I remember wanting to hide those quite a lot. I wore skirts quite a lot at school, and I had long white socks that pulled up to my knees just to cover that up, or I wore trousers. And one other thing that happened to me actually, I just thought of. I went running into my mum one day because there was something wrong with one of my eyes, one or both of my eyes. I can't remember quite which. And I asked her what it could be, what was wrong with my eye. It just felt funny. I couldn't figure out what it was that was wrong. And she asked me if I put anything on my eyes, if I'd been doing makeup or anything like that. And I was with one of my friends, and we had been doing each other's makeup. I must have been about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 at the time. And I put on this green Spice Girls cream eyeshadow. I mean, come on, girls. Yeah, and that had made my eyelids swell up. Like, not all the way shut and really, really big, but like puffy and enough that you would actually notice it. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's probably the only other thing that I can remember really about primary school. Um, yeah. So, I mean, oh, and like I went to primary school in the 90s. So, like, when we were getting ready for PE and stuff, probably right up from like reception to probably the end of year 4, we all got changed in front of each other. So, we all saw each other getting changed. We all saw each other in our shorts and our underwear and all the rest of it. So, they saw like the crooks of my arms when they were bad, the backs of my legs, the fronts of my legs, my back, and sometimes other places as well. So, immediately I knew I was different from anybody else. Immediately I knew. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's the only real way it affected me at that age. High school was a little bit different. I mean, I think I ignored it quite a lot at high school. I would cover my face in layers and layers of makeup, um, eyeliner, lots and lots of mascara, foundation that you could literally scrape off my face like this if you put your finger in it, and concealer and whatever else. Um, Thinking that sort of if you look at me from far away, you can't really see it, but when I looked in the mirror, I could see that it was all sitting in my skin, and it just made it worse. It just made it look worse, and the makeup itself was actually making my skin worse as well. So that wasn't great. And about the last 2 years of high school is when my skin really started to get bad. And obviously the stress of being a teenager didn't help. And from from really, really little, I've had this really bad habit of picking and peeling. And obviously, having a skin condition, I'll be sort of picking myself all the time. But when I was really young, um, I used to pick the bit of wallpaper and peel it off right next to where I used to sleep in my bed, in my bedroom. And it used to drive my mum absolutely insane. But obviously, my mum knows this about me, and all the rest of these people in my family know that I have this habit. So I had, I think it was probably year 10 or year 11, so like the last 2 years of high school, um, there was this one particular teacher who, I guess, in a way, she tried to take me under her wing. I'm not really sure how to sort of put that into words, but yeah, she pulled me into her office one day, and she was talking to me about probably not getting my homework diary signed or something silly. And she turned around to me just before I walked out and said to me, "And can you not pick your eczema in assembly? It's disgusting." And yeah, that affected me pretty badly. So yeah, so it's getting worse. My skin's getting worse over literally worse and worse over time. Um, my clothes are getting stuck to me. There's blood all over my sheets from my skin. Um, my ears, like I've like this bit behind your ear here is like split, and my hair's getting all stuck in it and all stuck in my face, and it makes me cringe every time it happens, and I've got to pull my hair out of it or soak my hair out of it. Um, and I was going back to the doctors over and over. I've been back and forth. I can't even count how many times I've had antibiotics. I've had oral steroids. They've changed my corticosteroids, and just either something it would work for a little while, but then it would just rebound straight back into a really bad rash again, or another infection again, or it could have been the same infection. It could have been the same infection coming back over and over again because it wasn't really gone to begin with. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in that cycle anymore, thankfully. So I felt that I wasn't really being listened to by my doctors. I obviously I was a teenager, so I don't think they really believed me when I told them that I was doing my creams when I was supposed to be doing them. I'm staying away from the things that I'm supposed to be allergic to, like different washing powders, different shampoos, body washes, soap, all these kinds of things that can get on your skin that can give you a rash. I was staying away from these things, but still, I kept going back and getting these rashes again and again and again. So I I cried to my mum one day, I think, and she paid for me to go and see a dermatologist privately. Um, it didn't take long to get an appointment, to be fair. I think we got in there really quickly. It cost us a little bit of money, but it was really worth it. And the dermatologist basically, I explained the symptoms that I was having, and the fact that my creams, I felt were making it worse when I was putting them on. I was, having these flare-ups and then having a shower and putting my creams on, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse, and I just couldn't get it back under control, and it was making me sad and depressed, and it was just awful. So I went to see this lady dermatologist, and she basically explained to me that my immune system is is attacking itself. So because I've been using these things for so long, now my immune system has built up a tolerance like it does to other things. So if you take antibiotics too often and all the rest of it, that's exactly what was happening with my steroid creams. So she took some swabs. I think one was from inside my nose and the other was from my groin, and those were sent away. I don't think there was anything untoward on those, but she then advised me to go and get a prescription. Well, she gave me a prescription for something called cyclosporin, which is immunosuppressants. It kills off your immune system, basically just gives you a reset, so everything starts to work again. And they worked really well, really, really well. Like, they are really, really dangerous. You've got no immune system. You're not supposed to go like near people who are ill. You shouldn't go in the sun really because you're not shielded from it anymore. And if you catch a cold or anything like that, you could die because your body can't fight it off. And I did actually end up in hospital until about 3 o'clock in the morning the one time because I had a bit of a cough and I had to have my chest x-rayed and be given the all clear before I could go home. But thankfully I was okay. So yeah, so I've been taking this for about 6 months and it's great. Like, I'm feeling a lot better when I'm putting my creams on now. They're actually working again, so I'm like, yes, come on. But I'm still having bad flare-ups, and as far as I can tell, I'm I'm doing everything I can. I've got my corticosteroids, I'm using my emollients, probably not as regularly as I do now and as I should have been, but I was doing my creams. But it would just, sometimes it would be really bad, and then other times it would be really, really good, and I just could never figure out why. I'd had phototherapy a couple of times, and you know, some people have found phototherapy really, really helpful. And I know that it has worked for some people, but for me, it just gave me a brilliant tan. And as much as I did enjoy going backwards and forwards 3 times a week to go and see these nurses, they were lovely, lovely ladies. But the phototherapy it just didn't work. I was coming in and out with the same rash, and it would go away and come back again, and then go away and come back again like it was before. So I then asked for some patch testing, which that was great fun. You have these, I think there's 52 patches, so that it's like a little square with a little like bowl thing in the middle, I guess, where they put the allergen, and they tape them to your back with masking tape. And then over the course of, I think it's a week, they check them, they'll peel them back, and then they'll circle around the ones that have reacted and monitor it over a week. And I have, I think it was 4 different contact allergies. A couple of them I'm not really surprised by. It was nickel and cobalt, 2 of them, and what was the other one called? Potassium dichromate was the other one. And oh, I don't remember what the other one was called. I've got the piece of paper tucked away somewhere. Anyway, so they're quite common things. One of them, oh, it was dispersed blue mix. That was the other one, dispersed blue mix, which is a blue dye that they use in literally everything, to make blue-black clothing, to make blue-black sheets. You literally can't avoid it. So yeah, so that was sort of basically some of my answers there. I have all these different contact allergies, so there's more stuff that I need to avoid. And I also, at this point, have got hay fever, and I am allergic to fur-bearing animals, and dust. So I've then been prescribed a massive dose of antihistamines. I take a massive dose of antihistamines every single day. And I mean, they help with the sneezing and all the rest of it, but if I eat something that I shouldn't, i.e. dairy and things like that, I will still get a rash, even with all of the level of antihistamines that I've got in my body. So there's that. So yeah, I mean, the most effective thing that I have found is changing my diet. Changing the allergen-filled foods that I have been filling my body with. So by cutting out dairy and gluten and wheat, just for, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, my skin reversed. It was completely different, and it had like strength to it, and I didn't have any rashes. It was great. So I know for a fact now that I'm not supposed to eat dairy, and one of the main things, and I can't believe that I never knew, was cheese. I can't eat cheese. I'm not allowed to eat cheese, and when I do eat cheese, I end up with, it's like my skin like swells up into hives, and then I get like little spots in it, and it's not very nice. And then eventually, if I keep scratching and stuff, it does get infected, and it's really, really bad when it does happen. So I generally tend to avoid cheese. But yeah, I mean, going on, that's the best thing. The best thing that I found is going into my diet and finding out what it is that I'm actually allergic to, and then the research that was done with the patch testing as well. Somebody tried to suggest to me to have what they call a prick test, which is when they prick the allergens into your skin. So you've got like a strip down your arm, and then they'll do or different dots down your arm. I can't have one of those because of the antihistamines that I already take. I'll get false positives with the antihistamines that I already take. So yeah, I can't have that done. But through my own research and things like that, I've already figured out what I can and can't have and things that I should and shouldn't avoid. And, you know, there are ones out there that I just can't avoid. I just can't, and there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to do my best to try and keep it under control when I do come into contact with something that I shouldn't. But yeah, now I use emollients 5 or 6 times a day. I do still use steroids. Sometimes I have times where I just can't be bothered and I want to eat cheese because I do enjoy eating cheese, and then I'll suffer for a while. I'll suffer for about a week afterwards, just trying to get my skin back under control, and it's not fun. But that's my story up to now, and yeah, I mean, there are so many different medications and treatments and things out there that you can do, and things that you can ask for, but my advice is look at your diet. Look at your diet first, and figure out, you know, they are the main foods where they are high in allergens, and if you just cut them out for a couple of weeks, it is awful. It's awful doing it for those 2 weeks, but if it makes a difference, you will be amazed. If it does make a difference, it will make an amazing difference, and you will be amazed. I was also supposed to be doing, supposed to be having dupilumab. They're injections. I don't think it's steroids, but it's relatively new and it's still experimental. I had a customer at my old job whose skin was really, really bad. Like, every time I saw him, he was red from head to toe, swollen, scaly, just absolutely awful. Like, probably worse than me. Not on my worst days, but probably worse than me just on a daily basis. And he's been given this drug, and it's worked absolutely wonders for him. Like, his skin looks normal. And normal is a horrible word to use. I absolutely detest that word, but his skin looks like he never had eczema. It's amazing. But unfortunately, due to lockdown, I wasn't able to have some of the other testing that I needed to have done, so I wasn't able to go forward with that. But as it stands, I have quite a bit of control at the moment. You know, stress can factor in and all the rest of it, and with everything that's going on at the moment, it can be quite difficult to keep the stress levels down. But just keeping my head down, going to work, doing what I need to do to get that done, making some money, and coming home, making these videos for you guys, and yeah, hopefully helping some of you out as well. And that's my story, guys, up to now anyway. And if you've got any questions for me, or if there's anything you want to add, or anything you want to know, you can give me a message on Facebook, or you can leave a comment in the section down here. And I'm BB, and I will see you next time I post. Thanks, guys.